Hello, I'm James Wilson.
And I'm Matthew Rowney.
And
Merry Christmas!
Happy New Year! It's Happy New Year.
Well, it's Merry Christmas
Matthew.
as well. We've had both, so...
Matthew, Christmas was last week, and this is now New Year.
Merry New Year?
No.
Happy
No.
Christmas works, so Merry New Year. Merry New Year.
Oh my god, the 2 weeks I've had without him have been the best I've ever had.
Yes, it's been great, hasn't it?
Anyway, so, ruining our Happy New Year welcome there, you kind of ruined the whole tone of the intro.
You ruined
there.
my Merry Christmas one.
Anyway, so... looks like Cy from Time Heist, doesn't he? Looks exactly like him. Seriously, it's exactly the same coat.
He looks like a homeless Captain America fan.
There's no wrong with Captain America. I'm just a more realistic version of America. Anyway, so, today we are going to be coming back to Who Addicts Reviews in the New Year, to Usher in 2016, with our review of The Husbands of River Song.
Yes, so sit back as we review yet another Moffat Christmas special.
Yes, enjoy! So then guys, here we are, beginning our review of the Doctor Who Christmas Special 2015, The Husbands of River Song, which also marks 10 years since the Christmas invasion. And so, you know, yeah, 10 years of Christmas specials, wow.
Yes, indeed, and we will be seeing where this will rank in all of the Christmas specials in this video. Talking if it's the best Moffat Christmas special, if it's the worst, etc.
Yes, definitely.
Quickly, just want to briefly mention our reactions. I think I was much more positive than you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit on first watch. I don't know if it's because it's Christmas Day and you're in that sort of mood. But yeah, first viewing, I enjoyed it. Second viewing, I started to see a lot more faults, and it felt like a much longer episode on second viewing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on first viewing, I was, I still noticed the problems with it, but I still found it a hell of a lot of fun, and I still find it a hell of a lot of fun. It's a fun little episode, and it's not something that I would go back to watch in a hurry.
No.
But it's definitely something that, you know, I would definitely sit down and have a good laugh. If I were to watch one of the Doctor Who episodes that were to make me a bit more happier and perk me up a little bit, then I would definitely pick The Husbands of River Song.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. It was a fun little episode. But we will definitely get onto the subject. But it's not quite the tone or right for the 12th Doctor, really.
Yes.
So we'll definitely get onto that. But first, let me just talk about the title sequence.
Get it out of the way.
The frickin' baubles, the snowy transitions, the snow spinning onto the TARDIS. That doesn't need to happen. Yes, in some ways it's in sync. So that's, you know.
Well,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's
got that right.
Yeah, that's right. and also, you know, the cast seems to be in the right order. But the baubles was going in a step too far. Seriously, I mean, just because it's a Christmas special does not mean that the title sequence needs to change at all. I mean, seriously, the Christmas special, although it is called a special. Okay, this might sound a little bit contradictory to the word special, but it doesn't need to look out of sequence to the rest of the series.
Well, I like the title sequence, apart from one thing.
Okay, sorry, let me just take that back, because thinking about it, yeah, a special does need to be out of sequence with the rest of the series. Sorry, I just wanted to take that back. That was a bit stupid.
Well, yeah, anyway, my thoughts on the titles is I like the titles. Visually, they look great. They're not doing a remix of the titles, you know, with the Jingle Bell theme or anything, so that's fine. But the baubles were a step too far. Last year, they made a drastic change by making it Christmassy with snow and ice, and I love that. It looks brilliant. But I don't see why they had to take it a step too far by making the planet's baubles.
Yeah.
It just looked tacky,
yeah.
And they didn't need to do that.
No, they didn't.
Definitely.
So, let's get on to the Doctor in this episode. I thought that the Doctor was very... I think that the 11th Doctor's dialogue was very much forced down his throat in this one. I really did think that the very look of the special, the gung-ho tone of the special, it was oozing out of every piece of set and every piece of costume. King Hydroflax, the look of the robot, and literally everything about this episode oozes 11th Doctor. Like, literally, out of every part of the episode, I just thought, Matt Smith, come in and please do this episode.
Yeah, well, it's a tale of two halves, this episode. I have completely different thoughts in the second half to what I do in the first. But yeah, the first half, what felt out of place was the Doctor. 12 did feel very out of place. One thing I will give Last Christmas is that 12 fitted into that episode really well. But he didn't fit really well into the Husbands of River Song. The dialogue was trying too hard to be funny. The humour didn't suit 12. I'm not saying it's any disrespect to Capaldi, because I'm sure put him in any other comedy film, any other time of the year, any film, any other TV show, it'd be fine. But the 12th Doctor's character itself, the humour didn't fit. And it was too overbearing in the first half. Every line of dialogue was trying to be funny. It hardly worked at all. The music as well, and I don't usually criticise Murray Gold, the music was way too silly, way too overbearing. You know, we had snow at the same time. They were throwing so much at us. So much festivity, so much humour, and it was too much to take.
Was the music Time and the Rani level?
No.
Ridiculous music?
Well, actually, Time and the Rani music was probably more tolerable, if I'm honest, because it wasn't so loud. But, yeah.
It was, though.
No, I don't want to talk about Time and the Rani, if I'm honest, but, yeah. They were trying to throw all the festivities into the first half, because I think...
Yeah.
It's not as much of a Christmassy festive episode as a whole as previous specials, but they were trying to throw so much Christmassy stuff into the first half, and that's all the first half was. That's all the Planet of Mendurax Delora was. It was to serve the festivity. That was it, pretty much.
Yeah.
It was too much.
I got to agree with that. It was definitely the Time of the Doctor type, where, you know, the Christmassy stuff is just shoehorned into there, and so, I mean, the Doctor has a time machine. I mean, seriously, how is he keeping track of when it is and is not Christmas? When is he actually keeping track?
I have no idea.
He could avoid Christmas entirely if he wanted to. You know, and this is definitely a Doctor that seems like he would avoid Christmas entirely.
Yeah.
But, so, you know, I don't know how he suddenly ends up in Christmassy places. He could avoid it entirely.
He stood out like a sore thumb.
He did.
Unfortunately.
He did. And so, but yeah, I got to talk about my favourite part of the entire episode, when River Song warns this person who she thinks isn't the Doctor. I'll get onto that when we get onto River. But she says, it's you might want to be careful when you come in here, because it's not quite as snug as you might think. And the Doctor's just like, finally.
This is the chance.
This is my...
It's my turn.
Yeah, and then he walks in, and I love that little shake he does with his head, like... You know, like he's,
yeah.
you know, he's just so brilliant. It's like, in his head he's thinking, and the Oscar goes to, you know, because he's just so amazing. You know, just like, my whole idea of time and space dimensions is completely changed forever. You know, I loved that bit. That bit was so brilliant. Honestly, I watched that in awe every single time, because Capaldi just is absolutely owning that bit, you know, and he's just playing for that bit, you know, because River doesn't think that that's the Doctor, so, you know, he's just giving it his all, and, you know, oh god, it was just such an amazing scene.
It was the only comedic moment that worked for 12 in this special, in the first half anyway, because there wasn't much comedy in the second half. I'd say first half comedy, second half drama, I think is the best way to describe this episode. And quickly, we'll talk about the end in more detail, but I will say 12 was a vast improvement in the second half. He was more comfortable, it felt more like the 12th Doctor, he felt more in place. River...
Yeah.
Again, she didn't feel like River Song. I mean, I know in the first half, you know, she's trying to act it up because she's trying to trick Hydroflex so she can get the diamond. She didn't really marry him because she loved him. I get that. She's a bit silly. But then when she's around the Doctor on her own, when they went into that room on their own, I was expecting her to go, okay, I know who you are. And I was hoping for her to act a bit normal. But she just didn't. And her not knowing who the Doctor was... It worked for a bit, but then it just got stupid.
No, it's just the fact that she didn't even acknowledge the name the Doctor.
Yeah.
It's like, she didn't even acknowledge that. It's like, honestly, he says, I'm the Doctor. Straight up says, I'm the Doctor. The Doctor.
Yeah.
And she just says, well, I should hope so, you're the bloody surgeon. And I'm just like, my god, I'm sorry, but that's just idiotic. That isn't clever writing.
River's
That isn't.
smarter than
I
that.
mean, seriously, River is smarter than this. She is meant to be a smart, independent woman who.
Especially when they were in the TARDIS.
Exactly.
And he knew how to fly it.
Exactly. He knew how to fly the TARDIS and all that, but River Song is completely oblivious. In fact, borderline stupid to think that is not the Doctor. Seriously, he straight up says, I'm the Doctor, knows how to fly the TARDIS, and everything like that. He gives them all these sort of hints, and she is oblivious to all of it. I'm sorry, that isn't, clever or anything like that. That's just making River Song look stupid.
Indeed, yeah, definitely. And another thing that annoyed me, we know she has pictures of all of his faces, but how on earth does she have a picture of the War Doctor? The War Doctor, up until 2013, was known to be this incredible secret that no one else but the Doctor knew about. So how on earth does River have a picture of him?
Exactly.
And if River has a picture of the War Doctor, and she knows all the details of the Time War, how does she not know that he's got a new set of regenerations from Trenzalore?
Exactly. How hasn't she got... She was there on Trenzalore with the whole tomb thing.
Yeah, she was on the tomb.
Yeah, I mean, as a hologram, technically, but, that just looked... but honestly, like, that just was just weird. How didn't she get wind of what was happening on Trenzalore? Oh, the Doctor got this crack opened in the sky and he got a new set of regenerations. Oh, right, okay, so I've got a chance of bumping into a completely different face from the other 13. Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on that.
Exactly.
It's just like, so that seemed a little bit stupid in my opinion, and I just, the whole thing with, and you would think that, I think that if she did know that this was the Doctor, I think we would have been in for a much better dynamic, a much more different dynamic than what we were hoping for. Because what a lot of people were looking forward to with this Christmas special was a new dynamic between the Doctor and River. There was no new dynamic. I felt no new dynamic. There was no new way how River was acting. The Doctor was even acting the same as the 11th Doctor was in a lot of the episode. So it didn't feel like a different dynamic from the 11th Doctor and River Song in the slightest.
I don't think Moffat fully grasped the opportunity he had with this. He had the 12th Doctor with River Song, and I was hoping, and I actually thought he was going to do something different with it. And although I did really like the scene where River gave that speech about the Doctor, he never falls in love with anybody. He's like, it's like trying to fall in love with the stars or something. That was a beautifully written scene.
Yeah, but that's just it. She could have said that whole speech with the 11th Doctor in the room.
Of course, I agree with that. But yeah, I think the second half, I think they were much better when they knew who each other was. I think the dynamic was much better then, but there was still that dialogue. Although 12 didn't fully, get involved with that, I still felt as if River was just acting completely the same. I know she knows every face, so to her the Doctor's the Doctor, no matter what he looks like. But as a viewer, I was hoping for something different, and I just think Moffat has really missed an opportunity here. I was hoping that maybe 12's rude, gritty humour would annoy River a little bit. She'd be a little bit surprised. I mean, Clara knew every Doctor, technically. She knew the 11th Doctor as much as River did, and Clara was so surprised by the 12th Doctor and how he changed, so why wasn't River?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is supposedly his wife, so why the hell wouldn't she be shocked? Supposedly, this is a Doctor that she has never met. This is a Doctor that,
Considering she never knew his face, they did kind of get on really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, seriously, I think that with how the 12th Doctor is, that River Song would have reacted differently, would have, been a bit shocked that this isn't the sort of man you are.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, honestly, didn't she say in the library when she was saying that that you came to my doorstep with a with a new haircut and a new suit?
Yeah.
I thought that didn't she say in that same sentence? I believe she did. She said in the same sentence that was the Doctor that I knew, or something like that. But
Maybe.
didn't she say something like that?
Maybe she might have.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the 11th Doctor is her Doctor. So the 12th Doctor should have really been a shock to her, really.
Yeah, it's a bad effect of that they left the reveal of them two knowing each other a bit too late. I think if they'd have got that over with a bit earlier, then they could have delved much deeper into their dynamic. They could have had much more time together, time to clash. They could have clashed really badly at the start and then warmed into each other at the end. And although I did love them two together at the end, and I thought Moffat had finally grasped 12 and River together perfectly at the end, I did think it was a little bit bumpy. You know, 1 minute she doesn't know who he is, and then as soon as they meet, it's like they've been together for years.
Yeah.
Which I don't think should be the right transition when she's meeting a doctor as different as Capaldi's.
I mean, only one line to actually, you know, that's also what annoys me. They are together the entire day, and the Doctor is dropping all of these hints that says that he is the Doctor, and River is oblivious to all of them, and is just stupidly just going, yeah, right-o. And I mean, seriously. And then she takes one look to him after she said a very emotional speech. She takes one single look, and she knows who he is. Really?
It's inconsistent.
Really? I mean, that is just downright ridiculous.
Moffat could have done that a lot better. But like I said, and we'll get more into the end in a bit, it improved after that, I think. Before we get to the end, do you want to quickly speak about the supporting cast in Nardole from Matt Lucas, and of course King Hydroflax being Greg Davies?
Yeah, well, I actually thought that the when I said that the episode was fun, this was actually the fun part of it, seeing Matt Lucas as Nardole, and I just love Greg Davies in any role he's in. He's just so hilarious in any role he's in, and every piece of dialogue that he delivers is just so hilarious, and so is Matt Lucas. Matt Lucas is just so good at physical comedy, and I'm surprised that he didn't get the chance to do that much physical comedy, but I loved that bit at the very beginning when he was confused,
Yeah.
you know, and he was just wondering where it was. He wasn't even saying any dialogue, he was just going, well, over there.
And when the doctor said, I'm not really a surgeon, he was like, oh.
He was like, oh no, you know,
Yeah.
it was, and when he was trembling for his life when the robot was about to cut off his head, he was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was, honestly, there were moments like that which were just really, really funny, really good parts.
Yeah, well, Matt Lucas was the only actor that made me laugh in this episode. I think he just has a presence about him which is just so damn funny.
Yeah.
Greg Davies, on the other hand, I don't think he got much time to stretch his comedic wings with him playing the villain. That's why
well ahead.
That's why I said in the preview I don't really get why they make the villains played by comedians, because they don't really take full advantage of them being comedians, because Greg Davies never had that much of a comedic role in it. But, you know, I'm not really going to go there with Hydroflax. You know, it's not my type of villain, but it's a villain for the kids. So looking from a kid's perspective, I guess Hydroflax would have been a very good villain for them.
Yeah.
But I do feel as if they were both a bit underused, especially Matt Lucas, like you say. He wasn't in it enough for me, and I think they should have maybe not put so much comedic lines with River and the Doctor, and they should have gave more comedic screen time to Matt Lucas.
The people that could have actually delivered
Exactly, because I would have thought I'd have been on the floor crying if they'd have got that balance right.
Yeah, definitely.
On to the ending.
Yeah.
Apart from the odd dialogue about River's cleavage, yeah, there was a few, wasn't there? A few bits of the good old River, you know, sexual dialogue in there that did get a bit irritating.
Yeah, I mean, the Doctor was willing to, be in a crashed ship while River, you know, was teleported back to the TARDIS for like a split second. That was a pointless moment. She just came back. The River can fly the TARDIS. How didn't the Doctor know this? How didn't
I'll leave you in a TARDIS that you can fly. She could have buggered off and left.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's what he was hoping he would have done, but how didn't he already know that, yeah, of course she's going to go back for you. Jesus, that was a short-lived moment, wasn't it? You know, it's like I didn't even that just seemed pointless to me, that bit. And I guess, you know, there were moments where I thought that, but wasn't the Doctor willing to let an entire ship of people die? In fact, he did, you know, to save River.
Yeah, there was. I mean, it was a nice scene when they said, you know, none of these people on this ship are worth you. None of them are worth you. Oh, that's nice. Let's all leave them to die. Okay, and then they left them to die, and I was like, what about them people? You're the Doctor. You should be saving them. Or at least, I mean, River did say that it was a ship full of people who'd committed genocide.
Yeah.
It was the ship for genocidal people, so maybe the Doctor hates genocide, so I guess that's a reason for him leaving them. They were all horrible people.
And I guess it was sort of a fixed point in time.
Well, yeah,
maybe because River did say that she's a archaeologist from the future.
She knew about the meteorite strike.
Yeah, and she
dug them up.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So
I guess
I guess that makes sense. So going on to the ending scene where River's words in the library finally comes to full fruition, and hopefully our final appearance. Please let it be the final appearance from River Song, and so yeah. I will admit on a previous take of this review I did say, you know, that it didn't need to happen, and I still feel that. I still feel like it could have been left to the audience's imagination, but I got to say it was still a lovely moment to see.
It was incredible.
To still see that moment. I think it was still something nice to see.
The last 10 minutes were the best of the episode for me. The drama was there. Moffat, you know, brought loads of drama in the episode. River and 12 were interacting in the perfect way. I think he got them both bang on. Because River was being so dead emotional and she was being really dramatic. And 12 was doing that thing, you know, where he starts talking about the start. He's still a bit, you know, he's not really sure how to interact with her. So the last 10 minutes I thought were perfect. And it was the final piece in River Song's, you know, the jigsaw of her story arc. And, you know, I will take this back completely. If we see River again, I will take this back completely. But I felt as if it had to be there. Because if it wasn't, people would have kept asking Moffat, when's she going to get the screwdriver? When are we going to see the Singing Towers? So Moffat, I think, wanted to just put a line under that, answer the question so he doesn't keep getting asked it. So as long as River doesn't return, this is the perfect ending for her. I loved him giving the Sonic... And I put a caption on Twitter. It showed the exact speech from Forest of the Dead, and it matched perfectly to what happened in this. So I think Moffat did a great job closing that up. And, you know, normally Moffat, he's not really that good when it comes to context from previous episodes. He kind of forgets what he's written. But this, he must have went back, watched Forest of the Dead, and he got it bang on. I love the ending.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant ending, and I think it left me feeling much better than I did at the end of last Christmas. I came out of this feeling much more happy and satisfied than I did last Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Last Christmas left me dazed and confused, and with this, it left me warm inside. And, warm and fuzzy.
There was quite a few references to River's life in there as well. There was the diary in Manhattan, and I liked how the diary was full. I think that has to clarify that this is the end for River now. Surely.
Yeah, definitely. But sadly, she did say almost, so Moffat can always use that as a loophole.
And also, we need to speak about the happily ever after line at the end.
Yeah,
that was awful.
I mean, I did think that was far too cheesy.
It was Disney.
Yeah, and words were getting whizzed away in a weird.
I'm just glad they never kissed. All right, I was sat there paranoid saying they're gonna kiss. Moffat, don't. Moffat, please don't. They didn't, thankfully, but then it ended with a bling.
Yeah.
Happily.
Yeah.
And it was also interesting that there was no "the Doctor will return" in da 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 da.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get any.
It might as well have been Disney's The Husbands of River Song.
Yeah. But, we had no clarification on when the Doctor was going to return, which makes me a bit worried that we might not be seeing him again for a while.
Yeah, so, on to our conclusions.
Indeed.
Yes, definitely.
You're first, my friend.
Okay, thank you very much. The Husbands of River Song was a good special for the kids, as is A Christmas Carol and The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, and it's a fun episode, but it continues to have those annoying elements in a Moffat-penned special. Forgettable villain, forgettable plot, and as for River Song, it was great to see her back in some way, but with the 12th Doctor, she continued to be flirty and annoying at every turn. 12 seemed to have the 11th Doctor's dialogue forced into his mouth, and the special fell out of place for Capaldi's Doctor, and too much of a drastic change in tone. Although the ending was lovely, it was not needed, but it was still lovely to see. That entire scene could have been left to our imagination, though. But all in all, it was an incredibly flawed but fun special. 6 out of 10.
Interesting. Okay. The Husbands of River Song was a tale of two halves. One half I really enjoyed and one I really didn't. The opening half was a real struggle, with really flat humour and a story that didn't really go anywhere, whereas the second became really dramatic and quite beautiful, with a story that finally began to take shape. 12 liked the episode was mixed. His humour was forced and out of character at the start, but he became the brilliant 12 we know and loved towards the end. River was rather consistent throughout, although her not knowing the Doctor did drag on a bit too long, and the humour did badly affect her too. But once she did know who he was, I thought their chemistry was perfect, and it was a partnership I didn't want to see come to an end. Nardole was the only character that made me laugh, but like Greg Davies, he was slightly wasted in this, and the ending for me was incredible. It filled in the final piece to River's character perfectly and finally gave her the ending she rightfully deserves. So Moffat, please, like Clara, don't overkill her and bring her back once more. Overall, I did enjoy this episode, but more for 12 and River rather than the story itself. It looked doomed after half an hour, but it salvaged itself towards the end. I'm also going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Right, okay, so me and Matthew share the same rating there. So Matthew, where do you think this could possibly be in all of the Christmas specials? All of the 10 Christmas specials?
All of the 10? Well, I think I prefer all of Russell's.
Yeah,
I think
still, I think it's going to take a lot for that to change.
I think we've got to put it into perspective of the other Moffat, because they're so different. I think it's hard to compare.
Yeah. So in between all of Moffat's specials,
I'd say it's third. I think behind The Snowman and Time of the Doctor. But I'd say it does beat A Christmas Carol. It does beat Last Christmas, and I think anything could beat The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe.
Yes, definitely.
So Moffat has done a good job.
Yes, it goes third.
Slipped into old habits.
Yeah.
At times.
It goes third for me, and with The Time of the Doctor at first, and The Snowman at second, I think.
So, Moffat, a few little iffy moments, but I think he's overall did a good job.
Yes, definitely.
It was the drama that saved this episode.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah, definitely, it was, yeah. So then, guys, I shall see you on Monday the 11th for my Series 9 episode ranking, and then Matthew will see you on the following Friday for his Series 9 episode ranking. See you guys then. My God, you look so much like Cy from Time Heist that it's actually haunting.
You look like Captain America on cocaine. Thank Liv for the shirt, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Liv, for getting me the shirt, which he seems to be insulting right now.
I'm insulting him, not the shirt.
No, you weren't. You were insulting the shirt. You were.
Don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble.
Liv, next time you see him, kick his ass. Right, we hope you enjoyed our review of The Husbands of River Song. Please like this video and subscribe for, well, we'll probably bring an update video.
Because we don't even know yet.
No, so unorganised.
Organisation! Yes! Comment below your thoughts on The Husbands of River Song, because it has split opinion.
Yeah.
I look like I'm on one of them flight attendants. Exits are here and here and here. It's split opinion. And website's at the bottom of your screen, and James will see you in a week's time for his episode 9 ranking, and I'll see you the Friday after, which is in about 12 days.
Exactly. See you guys later.